Welcome to the Yukon in North 61. I talked a little bit about, in one of my last videos, about my favorite firearm being the Winchester 71. And I thought I might expand on that a little bit. What is it about this firearm that makes it my favorite firearm? Probably the most outstanding thing about the Winchester 71 is ergonomics. The Winchester had an enormous amount of experience with the big levers. And this was a project of love by some of the men in the factory. They really wanted to continue making the big levers. And they wanted to amalgamate all of their lever guns into one. They created this and they lavished a lot of attention on it. Townsend Wayland they got to help them design the stock. Townsend Wayland was a fairly famous hunter. People might remember the 35 Wayland. This was named after him. And he was a woodstocker and a very important person at the time. And he was part of a design team that designed this stock. And they designed this stock for shootability. And let's take a look at a couple of things. On the angle of this pistol grip really sets your hand up very nicely. For comfort, for pointability, you can point this gun just with that hand, and also for starting that lever on its way. It's just a beautifully designed angle. The drop at comb is very, very well designed for open sights, and this gun is an open sight gun. It's either a peep sight or an open sight. This gun is not to be scoped. Some people have ruined them by putting, in my mind, side scope mounts on it. If you need a scope, this is not the gun for you. This is an open-sighted gun, and the open sights is part of the charm. And I've noticed when hunting from a canoe or in a traditional kind of way in the north, not having a scope, having the absolute simplicity of open sights is a big benefit. And 200-300 yards, you can use these sights. And the other great thing, the second thing about this firearm, is they spent a lot of time creating a cartridge. And the cartridge is very funny looking in today's eyes. It's a 5110, neck down, given an enormous amount of taper. The taper is for feeding, and also probably to reduce the capacity so that you had 30-06 type ballistics. And this shoots the same weight of bullet, about the same speed as a 30-06. And it was their attempt to create a universal cartridge. And I think they did a good job with this. This shoots 200 grain bullets at about 25-50. The flex tips go 25-60. They only drop about 9 inches at 300 yards when you sight in at 200. This is a fully capable 300-yard rifle, even with flat points, 250-yard rifle. It will expand the bullets. I prefer 200 grain bullets. Some people really like the 250s. The 250s you can only get up to about 2250. That's getting too low for expansion at anything much past 125, 150 yards. So for close-in shots, the 250s are great. They penetrate really well, but you can increase the penetration of 200 grain bullets by just varying your bullet, the type of bullets you're using. Get a harder bullet, and there's many 200 grain bullets available now. So you can vary your bullet to meet the needs of the game. 200 Hornady flat points I found totally useful for anything up to moose. So the other thing that's related to the ergonomics is the pointability. This gun just has exceptional pointability, and I've talked about this before, and shootability. Because it's a fairly heavy firearm at 8 pounds, it sops up the recoil. This gun is a soft shooting rifle, encourages fast repeat shots. The beautiful lever action, if you just hear that schnick is just, it's a tactile sensation that you have to actually try to appreciate. And the pointability of this rifle really allows for that quick first shot. And I still claim that one of the moose that I got a few years ago, if I'd had any other firearm in my stable, I wouldn't have got it. Yeah, so we saw a moose, Sonny. It was I had to thread the bullet through alders. I was in a canoe. He was moving quickly up a hill. I had to time the shot. And there's something about the combination of ergonomics, pointability, light recoil, that quick open sight use where you're up, they're on. I made an instant shot, and that moose didn't take another step. Yeah, I did hit him in the shoulder. It was kind of too bad, but that's where the bullet, that's where I called it, actually. And I don't think I would have made that shot with any other firearm, including scoped firearms, which are good, but this is really quite exceptional. And also the power level, between 2,800 and 3,000 foot-pounds at the heavier loadings is enough for bison, is enough for anything in North America. So it really is a universal firearm for North American use, anywhere up to 300 yards. Past 300 yards, there's better firearms. 200 to 300 yards, there's probably better firearms, but there's nothing better than this for shots 200 yards, 250 yards and under. It's a fine example of American ingenuity, and I think the old lever boys at Winchester had so much experience, 50, 60, 70 years of experience building lever guns by the time this one was made, and they put every ounce of that into this design. It's a beautiful design. It has to be experienced to be appreciated fully.